Pollen count, as always, people killing me, but I'm here, alive, in spirit anyway. And I'm here for my special edition surprise Sunday night live chat. Don't ask me what the surprise is. It's a surprise. And holy cow, we already have a guest. It's Gary Carpenter. He says, "Hi, I'm here." As am I. That's two for two by my calculations. And hello, Gary. I hope all has found you well. And let's see who else comes pouring in. Um, so far, let's see. Today's trivia. I was thinking about doing something Memorial Day related. Oh, veterans in Hollywood, that type of thing. But those are so maudlin. I decided. I decided. Much as I take Memorial Day very, very seriously. I decided to do trivia on a lighter note. It's just gonna be random 80s trivia. And Zoomerplex is here. He says, "Good evening, Zoomerplex. I was just thinking about you. Hope all is well. Welcome to the party." Dave is here. Dave says hi and hi to you. Keithy says, "Ice, ice, baby. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Ice, ice, baby." David says, "Howdy ho, neighbors." My flock, Sister Sarah's here. Sister Sarah, how you doing? So good to see you as always. Zublik says, "Play in the Navy, but I'm wearing black. Black in Navy? Yeah." My flex says, "Hi, Pawns." Johnny Orchard here says, "Good evening, Thrash. I'm still gonna call you." I gotta tell you, I fully intended to call you this week, and the entire week just got away from me. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But yes, definitely get you on the phone. Sean in the series says, "Hello, all." And wow, so far I'm caught up. We'll see how long that lasts. Oh, by the way, any of you guys see Tug's retrospect on the alpha patient of the post-apocalyptic subgenre, Deluge? If you haven't, please do. It's amazing. Oh no. I'm going to destroy. I'm going to remove down Avast for my computer. Every time I go on, they try to like upgrade my computer security, and I don't want my security upgraded. It's all a crock. Anyway, Dominic D's here says, "Hey, Bob. Hey, everyone. And hey to you, too. Good to see you, Mr. Dominic D." Shannon says, "Not yet. I got the alert for Tug's new video. It's really good and strangely applicable to some of the stuff we'll be talking about later on." And Scott is here. He says, "Hello, everybody. And hello to you, too, Scott. Or Scott from Harold the Hatter, for those of you who don't know." Justin from Braidwood in his view says, "Can I speak to your manager?" So you've been seeing my "Can you speak? Can you speak?" No, I can't speak, apparently. "Can I speak to your manager?" was a collection of short stories that I wrote, and I've been utilizing them in posts a couple of times, and I hope people have found them entertaining. If you folks had half as much fun listening to them as I had writing them, then I had twice as much fun as you. Jenny's here says, "Greetings from South Carolina." Oh, your powerful pup has a new friend, huh? Very, very, very cute. Very good. Puppy love. I love it. I love it. Garrett Carpenter says, "Has anyone ever heard of a movie called The Crazies?" George Romero. Yes, George Romero. 1970s, about a town, the Chemical League. People go wild. They did a remake of it. I want to say early 2000s. Yes, I have heard of it. Oh, My Flock's giving us a link to Harold the Hatter. Thank you very much, My Flock. Very kind of you. Um, David says, "Tainted black shirt. How about that thrash? Just like the Rolling Stones." I'm assuming that's "Paint It Black." I see a red shirt and I want to paint him black. He'll have a much better chance of survival. He's wearing a black shirt. No colors anymore. I want them to turn. Now I got that song stuck in my head. Thank you very much. Oh, Danny's giving us a link as well. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And my vlog is giving us another link to Keithy. Thank you. Scott says, "Hey, Fresh Bondo," and to a bunch of other of us as well. Lance is here. Hey, Lance, how you feeling? Welcome to the party. Dominic D says, "I think I've heard of it, never saw it." Well, thank you for getting Painted Black stuck in my head, by the way. I gotta tell you, because Mrs. Thrash had Don't You Forget About Me stuck in my head last night, and I hate that song. I hated it back then. I hate it even more now because every documentary about the 80s has to use that song, and I hate it. Speaking of, I see a red shirt. That was, of course, done by Simply Red, who I never liked. He was, possibly still is, but certainly was married to Chrissy Hines. Never cared for her. So I'll get off the soapbox now, but I much prefer Painted Black by Rolling Stones. Although Saban Magnus's cover of that is really, really good as well. David says, I think he did House of Eyes. He may have. Harold says, my girls are recording for the new show. We are going to be doing so much editing. Oh, I cannot be more sympathetic. Editing is very, very time consuming, which is why I don't do it. A lot of people laughing at that. The Simply Red tirade. Gary Kevin says, R.I.P. Richard Sherman. He wrote the music for Mary Poppins, died at 95. Very sad. Justin says, ever heard of a movie called Grotesque with Linda Blair and Robert Zadar and other odd casting choices? I haven't heard of that one. Orchard says, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Way out of my range. Sarah's asking us for hit the like button, people. Keith says, Sean, Mark, me present, please do. WT says, I like Chrissy Hind. You thought the Pretenders were great. I did think the Pretenders were great. Okay. Back on the Chain Gang was catchy, but okay, and maybe a couple of the songs. But the only one they ever played was Middle of the Road. And for some reason, I never liked Middle of the Road. And I always thought Chrissy was kind of that pretentious artistic type that used to drive me nuts. What do you mean this here says, hello, everyone. Sean says to Justin, if we did, I've put it out of my mind with that casting. A lot of people saying hello to each other. Tab is here, says, happy Memorial Day weekend thrash. Happy Memorial Day to you too, by the way. That was very, very kind of you to mention it. Keithy says, done. Oh, Sean says to Keithy, done. Len says, R.I.P. Morgan Spurlock from Super Size Me. Okay. Let me just, I'm trying to, there we go. I had that report screen. I was afraid if I clicked on somebody, I'd report them for God knows what. Zublik says, Sweden's second greatest contribution to music. Okay, well, ABBA was the first. I'm not sure who the second one is, but I'm sure they were. Roxette? Listen to your heart when he's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing I've got to stop singing. I'm going to get in trouble with, well, someone or something. Take that, Orwell. A lot of people saying hello to one another. I'm going to skip down. Sean says, and RIP the Dodge Dog from the meme. Very much so. RIP Dog. Gary Cameron says, what was the first? I think ABBA was the first. I think Roxette was the second. And I think Superplex is just pulling our legs. Oh, wow. I'm already way behind. Well, actually, I'm not that far behind, but I think I'm going to keep up here. Justin says, Sean, it was a self-promotion. The guy who shot Salino in The Sting. Oh, okay. And Danny says, oh, he's giving us another link for What You Mean. Thank you. Oh, Zublik says ABBA was second. Oh, all right, if you insist. And my Flock is giving us another link. John Doe is here. John Doe says, let the combat begin. Finish him! Finish him! Scott says to Gary Carpenter, OMG, I thought you were talking about the former Seahawks quarterback. Said, I love Mary Poppins. Such amazing songs. I didn't even think of that. Good catch, Scott. David says, How was that song, I Wear My Sunglasses at Night, thrash instead? Corey Hart, Canadian? I believe Corey Hart was Canadian. But do you know why he wore sunglasses at night? So I can watch you live and weave your storylines. I would have also accepted keep track of visions in my mind, like the windows in my mind. Da, 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 da. Okay, so like 50 years ago, the Muppet Show did that sketch where the running Muppet saying "Windmills in Your Mind." I thought it was the funniest thing I ever saw. Every time I think of "Windmills in Your Mind," I get a kick out of that. Moving forward, my folks says, Wedge, you're welcome. And hey, hey. Gary says, Harold, he also did Bed Knobs and Broomsticks plus the Jungle Book. So let's bungle in the jungle. Well, that's all right. Sorry. Dudes, I'm sorry. The pollen count, it's killing me. My throat looks like Bronson Canyon. But I thought it was, oh, yeah, here we are. I'm gonna skim down. Lynn says, Sarah, can we be okay? It's been months, okay? John says, blue suede. Step on my blue suede shoes, as opposed to blue denim. My flock has given us another link. Thank you. Justin said, Joyride. Joyride's a cool song, but I still prefer to listen to your heart. She passed on, by the way. Very sad, very sad. Teb says, guess the 1978 blockbuster movie musical. An Australian exchange student and a 1950s greaser fall in love while dealing with shenanigans at their high school. Gotta go with Grease. Gotta go with Grease. You gave me a hint when you said greaser, too, by the way. Had such a crush on Olivia Newton John. Of course, that was pre all of her shenanigans, which I won't discuss in the interests of good taste. Not to mention John Travolta's. Benjamin says, better watch that thrash. Don't want a copyright strike. LOL. I know, right? I know, right? In fact, I've had to go to great lengths to keep the Big Brother off of me later on today when we have our talk. Podblast says, hey all, Podblast, so great to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. And what do you mean? My Flux says giggle wedge. And Lynn says hate a chance. Zublik says Mad Max. Oh, well, there is an Australian in that. I'll give you that. Justin guesses Greece. Sarah is giving us another link. Thank you. Braidwood says the answer to the question, yes. And Big Guys 45 is here and he says, hi, Sarah. Oh, he says, hi, there is good. I'm going to come in again. It jumped, so I started reading two different lines at once. Big Guys 45 says, hi there, good afternoon, everybody. It was so simple. And yet I couldn't read it. WD says, did he write the bare necessities? Bare necessities, those simple bare necessities. I had the Jungle Book soundtrack when I was a kid. I'm trying to remember what my favorite song on that was. Bare Necessities was great, although it would be spelled Bear. But I think mine is I want to walk like you, talk like you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I always thought that song was really, really, really catchy. Skipping down. Everyone's saying hi to Big Guy. Gary Carpenter says, what do you think about the movie A Boy and His Dog? Funny you should ask. We're gonna have when the rest of the crew gets here, particularly Doug and Indy Spouts. I have a small presentation prepared where we shall be discussing same. And John says I might do the Memorial Day parade tomorrow. Oh, that is so cool! Oh, that is so cool. I guess New York has a really, really big Memorial Day parade. Awesome. Wish you luck in there, Johnny. And Big Guy says, by the way, I'm much more active on TikTok than YouTube now. Kind of fig. Although I still get your posts on YouTube and thank for that. Hello, Big Wajimine says, Indy Spout, speak of the devil, says, I'm not entirely sure how a regular scheduled live chat counts as a surprise live chat, but I'm here. Surprise! That's the surprise. I'm sorry. I decided to throw in something a little fun to get people to try to, like, oh, I gotta make it to this one as a surprise. And as we always said about Howard Johnson's, the best surprise is no surprise. Now, okay, so I'm a shameless shill. Slap the cuffs on me. I shouldn't kid. But Indy, I'm so glad you're here. You're one of the people we need for my little presentation yet. Presentation it. Heavens. Danny has given us a link. Thank you. As has my flock. Scott said, I would love a Grease remake set in Mad Max world. That could work. It would be a boy and his dog. It would be an Australian boy and his dog. And the dog would be an Australian cattle dog. And the girl could be played by, let's see here. That Kelly Minogue, my goo, the one who did the can't get you out of my mind. She also had a hit in the 80s with that cover of the Locomotion. Help me out here, people. I can't do everything for you. Big guys jumped off the page, so I'm gonna have to backtrack. Ooh, gonna have to mad backtrack, mad back. You see, I can't talk. My account is Music Trivia Daily. If any of you are interested at all, thanks a whole lot, everybody. Much highly appreciated. Emily's here. Says hi, y'all. Emily, hi to you, my dear. It is amazing to have you as always. Apparently, everyone else feels the same because people are jumping over themselves to say hello to you. Big guy's almost 6,000 followers on TikTok. I'll pass that on to my peeps. John says, I missed Fleet Week again. So did I. Tab says, guess the 1985 John Hughes classic. A brain, an athlete. I already know this one. That's why Mrs. Thrash was talking about a Breakfast Club. Asked me if I liked the movie, and then started singing "Don't You Forget About Me." I have gone to amazing lengths over the last 40 years to forget that song. And again, I can't because every single solitary 80s documentary works that song into it. And Dave, I know, Mr. Sunstrom, I know, I apologize. I know you like that song, but it drives me my sugar. But anyway, to answer your question, it is Breakfast Club. Justin says, mine looks like Topanga's Canyon. Uh, and good call. And Breakfast Club, yeah, everyone got that. Emily says, I'm good, Sarah. How are you? Oh, Sister Sarah, yes. Dave says, this is what we call the Muppet Show. Do you remember that bit they did as well? Excellent. Big guy says, I'll keep in touch. Thanks. Appreciate it. And he says, thanks to everybody. Ziploc says, straight time, as opposed to time which bends. And only 257 is here. And he says, watch the silent classic 1923 film, Safety Last. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious classic on Tubi Pawns. Oh my god, I can't think of the guys. There were three greats of classic American comedy entertainment. Of course, there was Chaplin. I know he was English, but he did a lot of American film. Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd. Harold Lloyd was like the forgotten comedian. I love the works of Harold Lloyd. I'm just going to skim down. Dominic D says, I liked Free Ride by Edgar Winter. Love Free Ride by Edgar Winter. I'm going to skim. A lot of people having fellowship. Dave says, I never knew Prince wrote Manic Monday. It's funny. He dated some of the coolest women in the music industry back then. And you could tell if he dated them or not, because if he dated you, he would write you a song. And yes, if I could do an entire show on 80s sex kittens who, let's just say, sang Prince tunes, which they got one way or the other. John Doe says, any new review recap coming? Yes. I did. I've completed Thundar. Haven't posted it yet. I'm this close. I am this close to completing creation of the humanoids, and there's something else I'm working on, which I've forgotten because I'm getting terribly forgetful from my old age. But yes is the short answer. 257 says favorite 1922 classic Nosferatu. Nosferatu is a good film. Luke says Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood. Great film. There's a great documentary on Alcatraz, and they actually talk about that very escape. And Lance wants to ask Emily how she is. 257 says also watched The General on Tubi as well. Super. The General, of course, that was Buster Keaton. Gary says, only I don't like silent movies. Well, then put the radio on while you're watching them. And Emily Miller says, I Want to Be Like You is a great song. Yes, that's the one that I was talking about. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes. I always thought that was very, very catchy. And Emily says, I Want to Be Like You. Oh, I just read that one. Sorry. And John Doe says, anum, anum, do, 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 do. Anum, do, 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 do. Anum, do, 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 do. Do 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 do. Shabu shabu. Da 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 da. Shamu shamu. The killer killer will shamu shamu. You know, the trick to doing these shows, people, is to not take my meds before I go live. Justin says, anyone notice Shawshank Redemption rips off a lot of Escape from Alcatraz? Well, in the sense that they're both prison movies, yes, but huh. I haven't seen Escape from Alcatraz. I think so. It was in the theaters, so I would have to do more research. But I love me my Shawshank Redemption. That's one of the cases where I prefer the film to the book. Keith E says, Danny, please put a few more needles in that voodoo doll. And only says, okay, Gary, hate my phone. A lot of that going around. Remember remember the one time I tried to do a live show with my phone? Just as well. Emily says, I'm good, Lance, just tired. Oh, a lot of that going around, miss. Hope you have tomorrow off with the holiday. Although I heard the supermarkets are open tomorrow. So guess who was told by Mrs. Thrash he's going to the store tomorrow? But I think it's a disgrace the grocery stores are open on Memorial Day. You know, you could have gone grocery shopping earlier. But where am I? Zublik says, heard of both you, only saw Safety Last, only 257. Gary Carpenter. My vlog shared me. Oh, thank you so much, my vlog. Very, 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 very kind of you. And at some point, we have to talk about a collaboration. We've got to talk about a collaboration that goes for Chance, that goes for Chrissy. Saturdays have been tricky for me because last night I got home wicked late. When I finally did get home, I lapsed into unconsciousness. It was very busy last night at the restaurant, but someday. Gary Carpenter says, I had a Disney album with the best songs from the movies. I didn't have that one, but I had one specifically for the Jungle Book. What you mean says, Justin, never thought of that. Only says Super Safety Last is great. Teb says, guess this 1984 Wes Craven slasher gem. A burned child murder 3 terrorizes a teenage girl and her friends through their dreams. One of my favorite. In fact, this is crazy. I was actually waiting on a gentleman, not last night, the night before, who I would have put my hand on a Bible and sworn was Robert Englund. He wasn't, and to be honest, he looked a little bit younger. England's got to be in his 70s now. This guy was maybe a little older than me, but not that much. But anyway, the answer is, of course, the Freddy Krueger saga, Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one, of course, as you know, had John Saxon. And Zublik says, Dumbo, what are you calling me? And Emily says, Ted, my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. She got it too. Ooh, Wedge got it as well. I'm guessing a lot of people got that one. Uh-oh, I jumped again. Hee hee hee. Uh, oh well. Oh, damn it. I think I may have pinned somebody's message. There. Oh, oh no, I'm so sorry. I deleted your message. Unpinned message. There we go. Um, there we go. If I deleted your message, I'm sorry. I was trying to get the icon off the screen, and I think I may have deleted your message. I apologize. It wasn't because I'm malicious or didn't like your message. I'm not even sure I did it. But anyway, if I deleted anyone's message, please forgive. Please forgive. Oh, where'd I go? Where'd I go? Oh, wowzers, am I far behind? Oh, Mystery Men and Monsters is here. He says, I've seen my man Godfrey. MMM, so glad you could make it here. Oh, and there we go. Gary Cameron says, did you notice that movie was made in a haunted prison? You raise a valid point. And a lot of people getting a Nightmare on Elm Street. Definitely. John Doe says, you can dance. You can dance. Everybody look at your pants. I thought it was hands, and it's men without hats, which was actually Men Without Hate, but there was a misprint on their first album, True Story. Dominic D says, my friend Flick at Tim. Gary says, no horror movies, just the Universal monsters. Super says, Mr. Mom. Oh, Emily says, Kelly Minogu. Minogu, thank you, Minogu. I appreciate that, Minogu. And Lance backs that up. As does a lot of people got that one. Pronounced Mino. Mino know that. Justin says, I kind of like the Brew Breaker better than either of those. Sean says, Kelly Magoo. Knee-high Minagoo. And Mr. Min Monster says, oh yeah, I got that one. So I'm catching up. And Minogue. So it's Kelly Minogue. Oh, that's what you guys said. Kelly Minogue. Well, we know what I'm talking about. We know what I'm talking about. So book says, so I'll come in again. You so need ENC to moderate T Pawns. You are backed up as usual. I know, right? But I'm going to skim through. Number one dude is here. Hey, it's good to see you. Chan says, not a fan of the Breakfast Club. I can take it or leave it. Mystery Man and Monster says, hello, Superplex. Sarah's giving us another link. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Emily says, Sean, at least we're fans of Kelly. Yes, we are. Oh, look who's here. Kevin from the Entertainment Headquarters is here. He says, hello, Mr. Thrash Pondo, and the audience watching. You've got to get over. In fact, Sarah and or Jenny, please give a link to the Entertainment Headquarters. We just finished our retrospect on Shogun with Kevin, myself, and as you guys know, DJ Anubis, who, of course, worked with ENC and I on other projects. You got to check it out, by the way. Very, very proud of it. John Doe says, "Is a full house here?" There certainly is. I'm skimming down because I'm trying to get to the. Lance says, "Dom, it's good. That's whatever is good is good. I'm glad something is good." Sean says, "Oh, hello to everyone." Emily says, "Mark Hamill is a big fan of Harold Lloyd." I can see that physical comedy. Thanks for the link, Sarah. Let's see. David says, try to listen to first MTV music video. Bungle's song is so annoying. I know, I kind of got into it. I kind of liked it. Brogo's here, says hello, everyone. Brogo's so glad you could make it. Welcome to the party, says hello, Thrash. WD says, was Harold Lloyd the guy hanging from the clock in the building? That's a classic movie still. That was him. That was him. He was missing like 3 fingers of one hand. He was doing a promotional shot once, and he had this prop, those like there were sort of hand grenades, but they look like a bowling ball with that long, oversized wick, and he was like lighting a cigarette with it. The problem was, it was a prop which was designed to go boom, not take out the entire room, but it had enough explosive to make it dangerous if you're holding it to your head like this. He survived, but lost a few fingers. Danny says, bad storm knocking my internet out again. If we lose you, Danny, thank you so much for being here. Glad you made it as long as you did. Oh, Lance made a roast today. Excellent, excellent. I made hamburgers. Perfect Memorial Day weekend food. Teb says, guess an entity for Eddie Murphy action comedy smash hit. A streetwise Detroit cop travels to Beverly Hills to help catch an evil crime ring after his best friend was made unalive. That of course is Beverly Hills Cop. When you said Beverly Hills, you kind of gave us a hint. Um, the major henchman in that movie is, of course, Jonathan Banks from Breaking Bad. And good movie. There were three of them, I believe. Robert Ridgely was in the second one. I believe the second one. My flock. Oh, that was the message that I removed. Again, I did remove your message. This is just Sarah. Don't take it personal. I did it by mistake. In fact, can I unremove? Uh, no, my next step would be to remove you from channel or time you out. I'm not going to do that. But please take it as an oops a days. Oh, Shock Theater official is here. Says yep. And Daryl Johnson is here. He says Bob. Other brother Daryl. How you doing? And Kevin says hope all is well. And Daryl says, what in the what in the wide world of sports is going on here? Blazing Saddles, love it. And Indy says to Dominic D, he was also the guy that had a building front fall around him through a window. Oh, I remember that scene. Yes, yes. Shiblik says Lethal Weapon 2. My Flex says Clue is one of my favorite movies ever. Like flames licking my face. I hated her so much. Love that movie. Love that movie. And John Doe says, have you ever thought of doing a behind the scenes of putting this together with a production, production, post production video? Must confess, I haven't, but an intriguing idea. 257 says, Terrell, what movie that got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and came out in 1925? Lost World? That's my guess. A lot of people saying hello. I think I'm almost caught up. So I'm going to kind of race through all the hello. And Teb says, guess the 1990 John Hughes written holiday gem. A young boy gets left alone while his family is on vacation and wreaks havoc on a pair of bumbling crooks. Home Alone. My book says, okay, Pawns, hit me up. I'll get it together. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for not holding me deleting your message against me. It was an active oops. And Daryl says, hit the like button. What he said, please. Zubik says, Sybil. I'm not Sybil, and neither am I. Gary Carter says, I saw the original 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea Disney. Was that the one with James Mason? I have not seen that film since I was wee to a nipper. And let's just say Brogu says nothing. He jumped again. Gosh darn it. I'm just when you think you're caught up. Brogu said something, and I'm going back. Keith is like 17, and wow, I really thought I was caught up, but I guess I'm not. Oh, Prom Night is underrated. Yes, it certainly is. Hang on. Oh, yeah, here it is. A little simple. My God, I'm far back. Emily says, you can't tell me what to do, Daryl. You're not my real dad. And Gary Cameron says, only I haven't seen it. And yes, it still looks good. Love James Mason and Peter Lorre. Indy says, I've discovered that it's impossible for me to type coherently and eat Cheetos simultaneously. So there's that. Yeah, you get keyboard all orange. I was right. The Lost World. Oh, that's so cool. David says, I like Halloween movies, but for me, it was the first one was the best Halloween movie I've ever seen in my life for horror flick. And the worst Halloween movie was actually that last one, Halloween Ends. I still hold Halloween 3. I know they was starting to go to a different direction, but it's still a terrible movie. Danny says, nope. I'm gonna skim down. Zuberlik says, what 1973 film was set on a boat and written by Stephen Sondheim and Anthony Perkins? Set on a boat, 1973. I got nothing. Well, that's a good one. Please let me know. Stephen Sondheim and Anthony Perkins. Riverboat. I don't know. Dominic D says, I really have to force myself to sit through a silent movie. I like some of Charlie Chaplin's shorts, though. Kevin says, what do you people have planned for Memorial Day? I'm going to the grocery store. Oh, hang on. I'm just going to try to catch up here. Emily says, if the weather holds, I'll be doing door dashing. Oh, excellent, excellent. A lot of people have no plans for tomorrow. That's good. Just get a day of rest when you can. 257 says, assault the precinct 13. Skimming. Starla, give us another like. Thank you. Ken Wilkinson is here. Christopher, how you doing, man? Good to see you. John Doe says Mortal Kombat was supposed to be a Van Damme video game, but it fell through, so they just turned it into Johnny Cage. Now they turned him into a female in the new game. Emily Miller says Harold Lloyd did his own stunts. Yes, he did. He did. I'm gonna keep scrolling down through people saying hello to one another. I'm thinking I'm almost caught up. 257 says Stephen Andrews, all right, we tried to do it the right way. Now we're going to wake this town up ourselves. Tony Grisetti, yeah, but how? Al, yeah, how? Steve Andrews, any way we can think of. Ooh. Zublick says, Lance, do you really like Eddie Murphy? Beverly Hills Cop. And he says, if you're here, Bob, I wonder what time it is. It's 8:03 at this as I'm reading your comment. So I'm probably down, way down. 257 likes to tell Zuber 1958 classic The Blob. I like that one myself, actually. A lot of people have seen that one. I think I just jumped. Oh, actually, I think I'm almost caught up though. Well, pretty close. Oh, 7:58. All right, so I'm about 6 minutes behind. I think. Oh, here it is. They're making a Beverly Hills Cop 4. Jumped. Wow, that's crazy. And Kevin says, was a great time reviewing Shogun with Thrash Pondo, India Nubas of the Metal Tavern Radio. Yes, we had a great time. And Teb says, guest in 1999 star-studded sci-fi comedy cult classic. The cast of Star Trek-esque TV show are transported to the outer space to help a group of aliens save their planet. StarQuest. Garrett Cameron says Eileen Brennan was in it. 2007 says Diablo radio instructions to the rebel army, and our password will be. Superblix says Back to the Future. Jumdo says they just can't let a movie die with all these sequels, prequels, reboots, and remakes. I know what's obnoxious. Galaxy Quest. I'm sorry, I said Star Quest. It was Galaxy Quest. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. I was close. I was half right. Kevin says I just watched Creature from the Black Lagoon. Have you seen The Shape of Water? I just watch The Shape of Water and then Black Creature from the Black Lagoon and tell me what you think. It's like Creature from the Black Lagoon if it was a rom com. Zublik says I can't believe how backed up we are. Yeah, but I'm catching up. Sean says, hey, Zublex. David's going to sleep in tomorrow. 257 says, headquarters. I watched the classic movie from the 1930s called Something to Sing About. John Doe says, are you doing a surprise live chat tomorrow? No live chat tomorrow. Starlog says, hey, all. Two goes, eee. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Dave is here. Oh my God, Dave says Thrash has almost as many cool glasses as Tracy. Oh yeah, I get them all from the dollar store too. David, it's so awesome to see you here. Everybody say hi to Dave. Hi, Dave. So great to see you. Welcome to the party. And only says to 1984, the movie. Which version? I like the one with John Hurt. Someone says that's because T-Pons is so backed up. Keith, yes, I need a laxative. And Kevin says, I want to go see Star Trek Search for Spock further. 40th anniversary. It's going to be 4K. Oh, excellent. Teb says, close, Bob. It was Galaxy Quest. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh, look who's here. Steve from the Life Inside Ending. Please give Steve a link. He's putting out some great stuff. I love the David Jensen video you just put out. David says, I hope everything has a great weekend and that we take a moment to remember those who sacrificed all. Yes, not to get maudlin for a second, but I'm sure as you know, my granddaughter's father, my son-in-law, who was the son I never had. Well, I'll spare you the details. They're not fun, but we lost him to second gulf. So if we could all take a moment of silence, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, that was uncanny. Hold that thought. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was actually. Can you guys still hear me? I'm gonna skip to the bottom. Can you guys still hear me? Well, I'll get back to a second. I was just cut up into spouts, so I'm gonna pick up with him. W.C. Fields famously didn't drink the water because it rusts the pipes and the fish do something in it. I'm curious, how would he feel about the shape of water? Seriously. He also said, who put the pineapple juice in my pineapple juice? Gary hasn't seen Shape of Water. Kevin says, yes, I saw Shape of Water. Very heavily inspired by Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yes, and the play. Let me hear you whisper. The book says that's your mom's glasses, T-Puns. Oh no, these are mine. I need a stronger prescription than she does, even though they're cheaters. Gary Kevin says Indy, most of them were drunk. Zubik says, not into fish sexting Homo sapiens. Dave says, oops, meant everyone. I knew what you meant. Skipping down. Keithy says, is this Steve or is this just a reheat of Steve? Probably a reheat. Number one dude says technical difficulties. Yes, but hopefully you can still hear me. I miss my mom. She died of cancer in 2013. Commiserations 257. Gary Cameron says, life, I have several of your videos in my library. Oh, BB in here. He says, she says, hey, buddy, BB&B, so glad you could make it. Chrissy. Everybody say hi to Chrissy, by the way. And please drop a link. Chrissy, I was just talking to my flock and Chance. We really have to get that collaboration going. I am so sorry Saturdays haven't been working for me. I got home really late last night and then ended up crashing. We were busy at the restaurant. Memorial Day weekend, first big weekend on the Cape Cod. But anyway, I'm so glad you're here, and hello to you too. And she says hello to everybody. Shana says, sorry to hear that. Thrash Pondo will add him to my list. Thank you. John Doe says, the shape of water is okay, but it's just like Del Toro work. It is just like Del Toro work. It's classic Guillermo del Toro. Keith says, Keith, it's me. It's me. It's Steve T. Zubik says, condolences for your mom. Only 257. Yes, definitely. And he says, yes, we can hear you. And a lot of people saying hello to BB and B. And I think I'm caught up. So I'm just going to skim down. I was really hoping Tug was here. Because you remember last week, I promised you folks that I was going to speak to the conversation we had on whether or not A Boy and His Dog, if Albert was evil. And I reviewed the question, and I actually didn't say, were these post apocalyptic children good or evil? I said, were they dangerous? And facts, Albert is very, very dangerous. Now, as far as the morality angle goes, I am willing to agree that in times of disparity and hardship, the moral compass can move a bit. People do things to survive they wouldn't do in normal circumstances. So when Vic must make somebody unalive in order to survive himself, one could understand what he does there. And when he feeds said people to his dog, even that, you could say, well, he did it to survive. You do what you have to do to survive. Oh, and by the way, spoiler alert. But one part of his character that will never be justifiable was the fact that I went to great lengths to find a word that won't get the algorithm mad at me. Vic violates other survivors. And there's no such thing as morally justifiable violations. So, good or evil, I'm going to table the label. I'm going to table the labels for now. But as far as was Vic morally reprehensible, I think I can make a case for that. I have more notes too, by the way, but I think I clarified it with the um, amending of evil to dangerous, and in that I think I've actually fallen behind again. So you know what? I'm just going to try to catch up here one last time. Uh, Keith says, "Well, it's currently 107, and I have to head to bed. Look out for my personal blog coming soon on my channel. I am heading to Romania and visiting the Dracula Castle. Excellent. Have a wonderful time, and thanks for dropping by." And he says, please tell me we're not actually going to bore everyone by ripping out the guts of A Boy and His Dog. No, I think I have a very concise explanation, which at Indy I promised. And Thrash Pondo always carries out his promises. If you were joking, by the way, it had no intention of actually reviewing the matter again. Forgive me for taking it seriously. But anyway, I wanted to leave no stone unturned. To answer Santa Claus, you seem to have a nasty habit of surviving. John, I love those videos you've been sending me too, by the way, about gangster Santa Claus. Speaking of John, he says, any trivia on Spock soon? Spock trivia. I could try that, but it'd be very the Trekkies would have a an advantage. Only 257 says trivia now. Gary says, "What do you think about the movie Santa Claus versus the Devil?" I actually enjoy it, although that opening segment where they show the children of the world, that's a little cringy these days. And Superplex jumped off the page. So I'm going to skim right through. I'm sorry. Tracy, good Tracy, I'll try to watch. It was Tracy here. Tracy, if you're here, but oh, there she is. Tracy says time TBA, and a TBA to you too. And David says he's not bed, but he's in hospice. I guess he did it for more insurance or something. I mean, I don't know. It's 8:10, so yeah, I'm 5 minutes behind. Tracy says Robert and Mrs. Robert, hi, sweethearts. Hello to you too, and I'll pass it on to Mrs. Thrash. Braidwood says trivia's come and gone. No, I have it right here. In fact, let me just race through. The answer is not Spock. Of all the souls, his is the most human. Sean says, gotta take care of something. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, all. Hopefully, you all Do well on Thrash's quiz. Yeah, Sean, please take in replay. Indy says, and now you need to do research if an 18-year-old counts as a child. Mwah! In the book, he's 15. But okay, I defer. Indy, you have won. Oh, but at least tell me that you liked my points, please, or didn't. No false praise here. Gary says both movies are on YouTube. Oh, cool. And The Martians, very good, very good. And David says, anyways, God bless you. I'll have to do a wonderful Memorial Day. I'm going to be playing one of my favorite games, Doom. God bless you. Happy Memorial Day if you're a vet. And John Doe, God bless everyone from 257. John Doe says, what was your thoughts on social distance bar fight? That was a riot. That was where the guy started smashing his own window. Oh, and thank you for the loving cups, Chrissy. And if I missed anyone's comments, please forgive me. I just want to read this one last one here. Dominic D says, very young Pia Zadora was in Santa Claus vs. the Martian. She sure was. Ellen, few Savage Pals is here. Lots of great people in the chat. Few Savage Pals, so glad you're here. Guys, please give Few Savage Pals a link. His dad jokes told by infants is one of the funniest shticks I've ever seen in my entire life. And Indy says the morality needle moves too much after the apocalypse for me to begrudge anyone's take on it. Bob, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you know what? I'm gonna I will defer. I will defer. But at least we know that violation isn't nice. And I'll settle on that. But anyway, without further ado, and now of course it's just random, lighthearted 80s trivia tonight. And as always, I'll give them to you in no particular order. And some people are already guessing. Number 10. This Vietnam-themed film won Best Picture in 1986. Was it A, Apocalypse Now, B, Platoon, C, Full Metal Jacket, or D, Gardens of Stone? And I shall repeat. This Vietnam-themed film won Best Picture in 1986. Was it A, Apocalypse Now, B, Platoon, C, Full Metal Jacket, or D, Gardens of Stone? John Doe says the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Yes, that Memorial Day is for the ones we actually lost. Veterans Day is for anyone who served. I do like to honor veterans on this day too, though, because even the ones who survived lost friends in the wars and made huge sacrifices. And therefore, I like to at least recognize them, even though the day is honoring someone else specifically. That's just my take on it. But no, you are correct. And wow, everyone seems to have gotten this one. I'm just gonna at Spock. And yes, the answer, of course, is Platoon. Very good. Number 9. In 1985, this soft drink made. I'll come again. In 1985, this soft drink made the baffling self-destructive decision to change its time-tested formula. Was it A, Pepsi, B, RC, C, Coke, or D, Fanta? I shall repeat. In 1985, this soft drink company made the bafflingly self-destructive decision to change its time-tested formula. Was it A, Pepsi, B, RC, C, Coke, or D, Fanta? Dr. K, I love it, Justin. So it says 7 Up. At the time, they were the same corporation. Oh, Gonzo is here. Oh my God, Gonzo 2.0 is here. Says respect for Memorial Day, you guys. Gonzo, I'm so glad you could make it. Please, my flock or Danny or any key holder. Listen to me, any key holder, any moderator. Please drop a link to Gonzo. Gonzo, I'm so glad you could make it. We just started the trivia game. You're welcome to come in with this one, which I will repeat one last time because I botched it on the first time. In 1985, this soft drink made the bafflingly self-destructive decision to change its time-tested formula. And everyone got this one except Dominic D, who said "yoo-hoo," but he was being silly because he actually knew it was Coca-Cola. Legendary. We talked about that when I was in marketing class in college sometime later. Number 8. This love letter to 80s Cold War cinema, Top Gun, made the brilliant decision to add a commercial for this soft drink to its home theater release. Was it A, Coke, B, RC, C, Pepsi, or D, Fanta? I shall repeat. This love letter to 80s Cold War cinema, Top Gun, made the brilliant decision to add a commercial for this soft drink to its home theater release. Was it A, Coke, B, RC, C, Pepsi, or D, Fanta? Give you another minute. Emily says Fanta. You didn't see the Top Gun home theater when it first came out on videotape? Tracy says, don't know. Apparently, ladies weren't big into Top Gun. The correct answer is C. Now, I'm sure you guys would have been like late middle school, early high school, like I was at this time. But when videotapes first came out, no one could afford to buy them. They were like $80 a unit. You rented them. But Paramount came up with this brilliant idea that if we sell them at $25, $26 a unit, they'll move. And we won't make as much per unit, but we'll make billions because not just video shows will buy them, households will buy them. And someone came up with a brilliant plan. If you take out your old videotapes now, there's usually 15 minutes of ads and trailers and stuff in the beginnings now, but they never used to do that. Initially, they went right from that warning, you're going to go to prison if you videotape this for piracy, into the feature film. Pepsi played. Pepsi paid millions of dollars to put an advert in the front of Top Gun, and it was a guy. He's a pilot. He's trying to get the soda out of the console, so he does a victory roll. So the soda pours into a glass so he can drink it. Kind of reminiscent of a Top Gun-esque situation. And they were able to knock so much money off per unit just from that commercial. And that basically triggered home theater after that. So anyway, yes, Pepsi is the answer. Number 7. This golden age of video games, I'll come in again. This golden age of arcade video games masterpiece inspired the wave of 80s shoot 'em ups. Was it A, Asteroids, B, Galaxia, C, Defender, or D, Space Invaders? And I shall repeat. This golden age of arcade video games masterpiece inspired the wave of 80s shoot 'em ups. Was it A, Asteroids, B, Galaxia, C, Defender, or D, Space Invaders? Indy Spell I'm pretty sure it was Diet Pepsi Thrash. The specific drink, yes, was Diet Pepsi. All right, I'm sorry. It was the Pepsi Cola Company. I was saying specifically what label, but now that you mentioned it, yes, they were advertising Diet Pepsi in that ad. Thank you. So you know what? Give yourself an extra half point. This one's a little trickier than I do. You know what? Somebody had a tough one on time on this one. Gonzo says Pong. I remember Pong. My grandparents had Pong in their family room, and my uncles used to play it and get heated when I was a kid. Never let me play. And these about the Space Invaders was the first that was, if that's what you're asking. Yes, Space Invaders was the golden age of arcade video games game, which spawned the all future shoot 'em ups. Moving on to number 6, and then we'll get some scores. Stars of this short-lived TV series, Double Trouble, aka the Doublemint Twins, have this famous TV mom for a sister. A. Katie Seagal, B. Meredith Baxter Burney, C. Dixie Carter, or D. Nell Carter. I shall repeat. The stars of this short-lived TV series, Double Trouble, aka the Doublemint Twins, have this famous TV mom as a sister. Yes, before they were in a Double Trouble, they were the Doublemint Girls. And apparently, and I found this out today myself, actually, so don't be too upset if you didn't know it. But apparently a lot of you did. But yeah, they have this famous TV mom as a sister. And while we're at it, her all of theirs father was a famous film director. In fact, I'll give an extra point to anyone who can tell me what famous Charlton Heston post-apocalyptic movie he directed. But anyway, Dave says I got to take off. Take care, everyone. Dave, I'm so glad you could make it. Take care. We'll see you very, 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 very soon. The answer is Katie Seagal. Katie Seagal. And let's see if not getting any takers so far for the post-apocalyptic film. So I'll give you guys yes, Peg. Peg is the answer. And well, anyway, we can get some scores. And if anybody knows the famous Charlton Heston post-apocalyptic film I'm talking about, feel free to shout it out in the comments below. And Scott is 5 for 5. Apparently, Scott is the one with the score. Dude says Peggy Wanker. Don't bother to thank her. Emily's 3 of 5. Only is 4 for 5. John Doe is 5 out of 4 Spocks. Watchman is 5 for 5. Terrell is 3 of 5. I missed one question. Oh, you can catch it in replay. Gary is 4 for 5. Superlex is 3 or 4 because I don't know which was the answer for number 7. I said Katie Seagal. I didn't. I could have sworn I said Katie Seagal. Anyway, it's Katie Seagal. Tracy is 4 for 5. Gonzo is I'm in detention hall. How are you? Don't D is 4 for 5. Zerblix says Katie was number 6. Oh. Space Invaders. Space Invaders was number 7. I'm so sorry. Space Invaders. Emily Miller was the one before Defender, I think, Zoop, or not. Space Invaders, the one after. Any other scores? I'll give it another minute. Seems not. Was Space Invaders A? 80 Spell says, what was the question about Heston? Oh, okay. Because the Doublemint Twins and Katie Seagal had a famous Hollywood director father. Most famously, at least to me, he directed one of Charlton Heston's post-apocalyptic films. You know, he did 4. This gentleman, Mr. Seagal, Boris Seagal was his actual name. But he directed one of Charlton Heston's post-apocalyptic films. And before he's even done explaining, I see the answer. And he says, so far, so good. I'm going to take that as a 5 for 5. I'm sure you got Omega Man. I would bet my reputation. And Space Invaders was D. Zuplex, just before he rolls over it. D. Space Invaders. And Justin says, Gerard Damiano? I don't know, Gerard Damiano. I'm so sorry. And Ziplik says 3 for 5 then. Okay, cool. That's good. And on that note, I think we can move on to the second portion. Okay, number 5. Oh. Okay, this one's silly, but if you've paid attention to earlier stories, anecdotes I've told, you might just get it. But or if you can do math. I attempted to join the US military after this Cold War clash of East versus West forces. Was it A, the Falklands War, B, the Grenada operation, C, the attack of the US Marines at Beirut, or D, the Libyan line of death incident? I shall repeat, and this is true. I attempted to join the US military after this Cold War clash of East versus West forces. A, the Falkland War, B, the Grenada operation, C, the attack of the US Marines in Beirut, or D, the Libyan line of death incident. Oh, John Collins is here. He says, "Hi, Bob." Hi to you too, John. Good to see you. He says, "None of the above. They aren't East versus West." I shall rephrase the question for our friend Indy. Love you, Indy. Okay, I attempted to join the U.S. military after this Cold War clash of opposing blocks. Does that work? Opposing ideologies, different forces. Da, 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 da. Oh, individuals here. Oh, here he is. Hello, individual mind, and you, Danny, Gary, only 207 Pondo, my flock, Indy Spodes, Gary, Emily, Wudge. I mean, and the rest of you. Indy, it's so nice to have you here. Welcome to the party. Indy says you're a good sport, Bob. No, Indy, you're a great sport. And you're my human fact checker. You're a fact checker who also plays the game. What could be better than that? So it's always great to have you with us. You do you actually I like someone I could actually spa with. It'd be better if I won on occasion, but again, I love the interaction. Um, oh, and it was for those of you who are still playing. Oh, 217, I got to go by 9. Well, don't worry, we'll finish this long before 9. But it was the Grenada operation. For some reason, I saw the Grenada operation as the 1980s Spanish Civil War, where it was like the kickoff to the whole global conflict. And I was still in high school, but I talked to a recruiter, and he was going to give me early enrollment. And long story short, I had a bad knee, so the army couldn't take me. But I tried. I did try. Number 4. Which of these was not an 80s horror anthology TV series? A. Monsters. B. Tales from the Dark Side. C. Dark Room. D. The X Files. Number 4. Which of these was not an 80s anthology horror TV series? A. Monsters. B. Tales from the Dark Side. C. Dark Room. Or D. The X Files. And you all caught on. I'm very, very proud of you. And anyone, Indy, care to say why? um, Indy says sweet. But yes, it's the answer is D, and it's because the X Files were 90s. It was a trick question, and you guys were all on point today. I'm so proud of Pons' people. Moving on to number 3. Which of these films is not considered part of the 80s zombie renaissance? A. Night of the Comet. B. Return of the Living Dead. C. Day of the Dead. D. Dead End Drive In. I shall repeat. Which of these films is not considered part of the 80s zombie renaissance? A. Night of the Comet. B. Return of the Living Dead. C. Day of the Dead. Or D. Dead End Drive In. And you guys are on game today. Particularly, oh, Emily says not a living dead. Oh, Zuplex hates zombie questions, so he's probably intentionally throwing the question. Give you guys another minute, even though obviously folks have obviously caught on. Yes, Dead End Drive-In is actually an Australian film, and it's actually pretty slick. In a dystopian future where crime is sort of going wild, like sort of like in Mad Max, they decide to stem crime by getting the juvenile delinquents off the streets. So what they do is they turn drive-in theaters into concentration camps. So when all the teens go into the drive-ins on the weekend, they lock them all in. Oh, Crapshoot Creations is here. Hey, CRC says big high five live. I made it. Yes, you did. Boom. Indian my flock. Please give Crapshoot Creations a link. It looks like you already did. And it's so glad to have you here. Oh, and Gary also does like zombie movies. Terribly sorry. Oh, number one dude says Mad Max. Yeah, Mad Max was great for the whole post-apocalyptic thing, wasn't it? Well, so was Australia as a whole. But yes, the answer is D. Moving on to number two. Although epic, this animated feature film bombed at the box office and actually caused a decline in US cartoon cinema. Was it A, Wizards, B, The Black Cauldron, C, Transformers the movie, or D, Rock and Roll? I shall repeat. Although epic, this animated feature film bombed at the box office and actually caused a decline in US cartoon cinema. Was it A, Wizards, B, The Black Cauldron, C, Transformers the movie, or D, Rock and Roll? Okay, now you guys are all over the place. Good. Means I asked a difficult question, or at least a more challenging question. John Collins says, Bob, I have a question. What is your favorite fast food restaurant which is only in your area? Oh, which is only in my area. Um, on Cape Cod, they don't do a lot of like fast food chains. We got the big three: McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, but those aren't really local. Um, it's not fast food. It's sort of like a family pub. We have something called the 99s here, which is like a local chain. It's a pub, but they offer solid meals as well. It's a bar and grill. Um, so I would have to go with that. But it's not like we have Big Boys or there used to be a Big Boy on Cape Cod, but they closed it years ago. You can get Jack in the Box too. Well, it looks like many of you did end up getting it. B, the Black Cauldron, which actually got some pretty good reviews, but it only made half its money back at the box office. And apparently, a lot of studios felt that feature-length cartoon movies were like a thing of the past. Fortunately, they were given another chance. And the number one question for this week is this groundbreaking home computer launched with an ortho with an Orwellian themed commercial. Was it A, Apple Mac, B, IBM PC, C, Commodore 64, or D, the HAL 9000? I shall repeat. This groundbreaking home computer launched with an Orwellian themed, I left out a part, halftime commercial. It was shown during the Super Bowl halftime. Was it A, the Apple Mac, B, the IBM PC, C, the Commodore 64, or D, the HAL 9000? Holy cow. Oh, Gonzo says, I thought you were the big boy in Cape Cod. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. And Miller says, oh, I like the Black Cauldron. Me too. It was a good movie. It was just death in the box office. And I don't know if it's because it was bad marketing. Some people say because people expected it to be this sort of like light kids comedy, and it really wasn't. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Um, If Tom was here, he would know. He was obsessed with that. But anyway, yes, it was the Mac, which will show why 1984 won't be like 1984. I loved that commercial. I loved that commercial, and they showed it once. They showed it once. Ridley Scott directed it. Ridley Scott directed it. Now, unfortunately, in order to get all the people who looked like they were from the dystopian society, he had to go to a local group of skinheads. So, a little awkward fun fact behind the scenes there. But so it looks as The Little Mermaid saved Disney. Not my opinion. Oh, don't start. Mrs. Thrash loves Little Mermaid, and I think it was the final nail in the coffin of creativity in the Disney studios, and she's giving me a splendid gesture, which illustrates her support of my decision. But that's why we have a free country now, don't we? For the moment. WD says, I think Treasure Planet was even bigger flop than the Black Cauldron for Disney. Yeah, the Treasure Planet, which was just not a particularly good idea. Treasure Planet also didn't make money, but by that time Disney was such a juggernaut. I mean, Disney was making so much money making sequels to its timeless classics. It didn't need to make sequels for, and they were cheap and rushed into production. So by this point, Disney could afford a loss. I'm not saying they couldn't afford a loss with the Black Cauldron, but they really thought when they released Black Cauldron, they really thought there was no demand anymore for animated feature length films. What Treasure Planet taught them was it is possible to flood that market, but the market did remain. If that explains it, I was actually still with the video store at that time, so I knew people from Buena Vista, and they were not concerned when Treasure Planet bombed. Um, oh, a lot of people saying hello to Mrs. Thresh. They're all making a gesture back at you. No, they're not. You're right. They're not. Oh, thank you for reminding me, Tab. I never got scores. Keith says, didn't the 99 restaurant have a real bad trivia? Yes, it was very bad, and people used to cheat. Mrs. Thrash and I went there a couple times, and it wasn't good. Although you guys might love to hear this, years later, I worked for 99 Pub, and I used to actually run a trivia night while I was working there. Individual Mind says, "Hey, you guys, I'm a head out. Good luck. You gotta watch how it's made with my son. Enjoy, y'all. Thanks for having me." Individual Minds, thank you so much for joining us. It was my pleasure. I will check out those videos. John Collins says, I might have been true about the Black Cauldron, but then came along Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which transformed and boomed the cartoon film genre better from then on. And Zublik says, Little Mermaid was the start of the string of successful animated films for Disney. We're sticking with Disney, but never mind, it wasn't just Disney. I mean, Denny says, after 7 kids, the last thing I want to see is a cartoon. LOL. It wasn't just Disney. I mean, the Transformers the movie did outstanding in the box office, and that was one of the films that said, you can have feature length animated films in the cinemas and make a profit. Black Cauldron was just sort of an oops a days. And he says, when Disney had Hercules riding Pegasus, I knew 2 things: Disney wasn't even trying anymore, and the Greek classic would take their greatest blow in over 2,000 years. Couldn't have said it better myself. Indy, if I could pin a comment without blocking you, I would. Thank you. And Tracy says, nice to see everyone tonight. Have a nice week. I'll do a live tomorrow. Time TBA. Love you, Robert. Hope to make it. Love you too, Bubba. Hope to see you tomorrow. Happy Memorial Day. Oh, and by the way, yes, scores, please. And if you gave them already, please give them again. I believe Teb was 9 out of 10, but please give them again if you already have it. I missed it. Wajimeen is 7 or 8 out of 10, 25 or 6 to 4. A lot of people saying good night to Bubba. Cindy's here, says hello, Emily Miller. I miss a trivia. Yes, but you can do it in replay, and I'm sure you'll do very well. It's 80s trivia. Christopher says, "Good evening, Cindy. I am glad that you are here. I was missing you. Oh, we all were. We all were." Uh, 257 is 8 for 10. Harold the Hatter is classified to classified. Cindy D says, "Oh, thank you to Christopher. It looks 7 out of 10." My Flock says, "I'm getting a headache." Ah, I'm sorry, my flock. I'm not sure which of my rants is giving you the most headache feed, but I apologize. Gary Carpenter is 9 for 10. Harold is 9 for 10. Dominic D is 8 for 10. Emma Miller, I think I'm 6 for 10. We'll call it 7 for 10. A lot of people saying hi to Cindy. Gonzo says, "Thrash, thank you for letting me embrace myself with your quiz." Gonzo, thanks for being here, man. I love your videos. They're a riot. And thanks for joining us tonight. Scott says, "Hey, BB&B, great show last night. I am so bummed out I didn't make it. But like I said, I got home late. When did get home, I was like, ugh, ugh, ugh. I keep forgetting I'm not 30 years old. I don't bounce back like I used to." Justin says, "Wasn't Pretty Woman a Disney film?" I honestly don't know. But I do know other Disney properties were doing everything they could to try to uh, recoup the loss after Black Cauldron, which I want to say it was made for 44 million, and I don't think it made quite 20 to 21 million. Zublix. Yes, it was great. Okay, thank you. And Cindy says, "I love the 80s. I will definitely watch in the replay. Thank you." And Indy says, "Demi Miller, I'll be sure to tell his actual writer, ah, Bellerophon, your feelings, Bellerophon. Be- better off on." And my folks says, "I woke on panel yesterday on BBB. LOL, so good." Emily says, "I've never seen Pretty Woman. I've never been a fan of Julia Roberts." Me neither. And Emily says, "Do it, Indy. Maybe I'll get a ride." And as I look at the time, you guys were great. I mean, there were like so many comments. As a result of which we started the trivia later. So it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually getting close to that time. It's actually after quarter of. So, any last thoughts? Any things people want to mention? Any questions for the upcoming week or suggestions? Love to hear it. Um, any themes for trivia for next week? I love themes. Keith, he says Black Cauldron made 21.3 million domestically. Okay, so I was in the ballpark. 257 says YMCA. And he says, "Thanks for the trivia, Bob." Andy, thanks for playing. And thanks for just all the interaction. And that goes for all you guys as well, by the way. I say it every week, but I mean it more and more each week. I couldn't do this without you. Zublik says, "Good luck, door dashing Emily." Yes, good luck for tomorrow. A lot of people saying good night. 217 says 70s. Dennis Dayton says, "Happy holidays all," and happy holiday to you as well. Zublik says baseball. Oh, Gary Carter wants me to do Disney trivia next week. Okay. Yeah, Disney trivia. I can do, or old commercial jingles. I get it, 70s or 70s trivia. Oh, I got a lot to work with there. Yeah, Emily and I, there was a Facebook meme where it talked about old jingles, and I got 12 for 12. Did you get 12 for 12 too, Emily? That could be fun too. Cindy says Pretty Woman was a good Gary Marshall movie. Molly Ringwald was supposed to play the title role. She'd have been so much better. She'd have been so much better in that. Oh, my Flug says great show. Thank you so much, my Flug. Thank you, Sister Sarah, as always. 257 wants cult movies from the 70s. That could be fun. Key says Corey's Comedy Channel, 10 p.m. tonight Eastern. And Scott says, the Thrash Bottom can't appreciate you enough. Brother, thank you so much, Scott. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. And yes, to everyone, please go at 10 o'clock my time tonight. Please go to Corey's Comedy Channel for his live chat, please. And Cindy D says disco songs from the 70s. Burn, baby, burn. Burn the mother down. Wajibin says, "Good night, everyone. Have a great week." Wajibin, you as well, by the way. Stay in touch. My friend Dominic D says, "Great live stream tonight, Bob. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everybody. You too. You too." Justin says, "Top 10 reasons people get disqualified from the $25,000 pyramid. Cheating is probably the biggest. Cindy D says, good night, Kenneth. Emily says, I did. I loved all of those. Skipping down, Scott says, I got 12 for 12. Music makes it so hard to leave your mind. It sure does. I learned that in marketing class that jingles are like the most insidious way to plant something in people's minds. He goes on to say, my girls sing the Tumu jingle all the time. Temu? Temu. Temu, Temu. The killer, 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 well, Shamu, Shamu. Christopher says, good Memorial Day, everyone. Thank you. And Emily agrees with Scott. Jenny's giving us a link. Thank you. Gary says, Quest for Camelot was good. Haven't seen it. We'll check it out. The book says the true story behind the Lufthansa robbery. Oh, you want me to do Casino? I can do that. Not Casino. Goodfellas. Goodfellas. And Scott says 70s and 80s game show trivia. That'd be a great. Didn't I do that once? Well, I can do it again. Tug says, didn't realize you were live. Oh, and Tug, and you missed the symposium Indie Spouts and I had about the moral conundrum behind a boy and his dog. Well, it's pretty much been although I gotta tell you, I did draw upon something from Deluge, by the way. But of course, both sides were paired to their previous corners. And what I'm trying to say is, I'm glad you could make it, but I'm sorry you weren't here earlier when we were referencing a boy and his dog. But thank you for joining us at this late stage. Superluke says the real story, not the movie. Oh, la di da. I'm not too familiar with it. If I was, I suppose I could look something up about it, but it'd be hard to do a trivia game on it. But anyway, Tug, so glad you could make it. And Superluke says Mary Fran's commercials. I don't know much about those either. You're really digging deep tonight, Super, aren't you? You're really digging deep. Oh, that reminds me. Back in the 70s, there were a line of frozen dinners marketed to kids. And I used to love them, and then they disappeared. And I found a commercial for one in one of those, like, Dave's Archives, one of those where it shows like all vintage commercials. And I'm like, oh my God, I haven't, and I can't remember what they were, or I'd tell you what they were. They were mostly pirate themed. And in addition to the food, which was yummy, they always gave like cool little things to kind of spice up the meal. One of my favorites was they had a packet of chocolate to make chocolate milk out of, and there were these little tiny crystals that would make like cool kaleidoscope designs on the bottom of your cup. Probably the worst thing in the world for you. Probably the most toxic thing available. But just the idea of being able to like make chocolate milk and make a kaleidoscope at the same time. But anyway, Cindy says I talked about her episode of WKRP, Gotta Dance with Johnny Fever, the disco show Thrash. There's a message retracted. I think I missed part there, but uh, I'm trying to think whose episode. But regardless, I did love WKRP, and Venus Flytrap and Johnny were my favorite characters. WD says, I remember those mid 70s, I think. Yeah, what were they called? What were they called? I can't. Mary Fran. The city says Mary Fran. Zuperlick says, local fast food restaurant franchise. Don't cook tonight. Call Chicken Delight. We deliver. No Chicken Delight on Cape Cod. But actually pretty much the only people who still deliver on Cape Cod is like Domino's. And that's because DoorDash has pretty much taken over the niche. My restaurant, we started delivering 6, 7 years ago, but we don't anymore. We don't need to, which means you don't have to hire a driver. You don't have to pay insurance. You don't have to maintain the vehicle. You just kind of split the profits with the people who DoorDash the food. Emily, you must understand this perfectly yourself. But yeah, we do lots of DoorDash. Yeah, that first summer, guess who got roped into doing deliveries? Yeah, because I had my own van. And we couldn't have a reliable driver. This is kind of no, I'm not going to tell that story. It's like I said, the innocent must be protected. I have an embarrassing story about that first summer delivery, but I'll save it. Let's just say we went through a phase where we every time we tried to hire somebody, we couldn't. Where was I? It says that was a commercial in the 1970s New York City area. I think I remember that from when I was visiting my father because he used to live in the New York City area when I was very young. I used to go visit him. Harold Hunter says the Libby Land dinners. I think that's it. I think you struck gold. Libby Land dinners. I think you're right. And Libby Land was like the island the pirates would go to. I think you might be right. I think you might be right. Christopher says, I love Mary Fran in the Newhart show. Okay, thank you. I'm so embarrassed. I was trying to remember who Mary Fran was. Zibble says, you should DoorDash T-Pawns. I'll never do delivering again so long as I live. You want to know why? And this I will share with you people. Even though it's a county ordinance on Cape Cod that every town has to be numbered, and it has nothing to do with the police state either, it's for the fire department. When the fire department gets a call saying number 123 4th Street is on fire, and number 123 doesn't have a label, it causes a problem. Every third house on Cape Cod isn't numbered, and that's on average. So here you're the delivery driver, and you're trying to figure things out. Okay, I'm going to number 17. There is no 17, no 15 either. Well, hey, this person's 13, 15, 17, maybe. Why? Because lots aren't always kept in sequential order either. This might be 13, this might be 21, and there's only 2 houses in between. Never had anybody adequately explain that to me. There was a sort of rapid groundbreaking years ago where they were like, where the population of Cape Cod was rapidly expanding. So things kind of got a little loopy doopy. But again, between the fact the plot numbers don't always match up and the houses aren't numbered, it is a nightmare for people delivering food. And I would get back and they'd scream at me like, "Why didn't you deliver to the house?" I did. They weren't home. Yes, they were. Or you go to the wrong house and people think that it's like something out of a Wes Craven movie, and it was very stressful, and my barely adequate emotional defenses crumbled. And oh, Emily says absolutely, restaurants doing deliveries themselves had to stop. Like you said, insurance was through the roof on the vehicles. Indeed, indeed, that's a huge, huge factor. And a lot of people saying hello and goodbye because we are in fact wrapping up. Tug says, pretty sure you can figure out which houses are on fire, even if you can't see the number. You raise a good point, but it's still a county ordinance. The houses have to be numbered. Um, I mean, you raise an excellent point, but the fire department, we'd still prefer it if we could know exactly which house we had to go to. Um, not all county not all county ordinances make sense, but at least it does to them. Cindy says, so, yes, so sad. I'll come again. Yes, so sad she rocked those sweaters on Newhart, Dominic D, Gary Carpenter. Yeah, they made that joke in the last episode. Yes. Scott says there is a commercial link to Libby Land dinner. Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you. If it says Libby, Libby, Libby on the label, label, label. And then, of course, there was Libby the lion and Hardy Har Har. And I'm really gone off the tracks on that one. Daryl says you would be fine if you don't use Google GPS. I didn't have GPS at the time, so I didn't. And Zimmerlich says, okay, so Cape Cod is no-go zone for door dashing. Oh no, we got DoorDash. Oh no, Cape in fact, I get probably 15 DoorDashers a day at my restaurant. And Tux says, I used to work on statutory law books. Municipal ordinances can be wild in Tampa Bay. You'll get fired for riding your buffalo through the center of town. I'm trying to not to make a bull joke. Oh, I will anyway. Bull. Anyway, on that note, it's the big 900, folks. I want to thank you guys so much. I had so much fun tonight. I hope you all have a great Memorial Day tomorrow. Commiserations to all who lost family. And you know what? Commiserations to everyone else as well. 257 says, Trace, the mighty B 52s, backbone of the strategic. I'll come again. The mighty B 52, backbone of the strategic air command, is belly full of atomic death, keeping America safe and the rest of the world scared shitless. Denny says, good night, all. Only 207 says, horror one, Gary. Daryl says, happy trails. Emily says, I'll keep that in mind, Tug. So Luke says, good night, T Pawns. Gary says, have it your way, BK. And Tug says, would you like to see my bomber? Come, Mr. Taliban, tally me a bomber. But anyway, I just want to say, and 207 saying, bye, 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 bye. What'd you bye, bye, bye. Guys, I want to thank you all very, 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 very much. And Cindy says, until we meet again. Yes, indeed. Next Sunday, definitely a live chat. It'll be no surprise. I won't use that gimmick a second time. I'm going to have at least one content post by the next week. I'm shooting for two, but at least one content post. But in any event, I will definitely see you guys next Sunday. Same thrash time, same thrash channel. Thank you so much for joining. Had a great time. Everyone, again, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.